Peace and blessings, family. This is your boy Gerald. It's Friday night, 7th of September, 2018. How's everybody doing? Decided I was going to change this up, and this week has been pretty exciting. But more importantly, because I try to live a transparent life, I also have some things I want to address. And I hope that if this applies to you, you'll take it on in. First of all, how was your week? Was it pleasant? Was it eventful? Were there some things that you weren't aware of made apparent and it forced you to make some choices? Or did you freeze? Did you just take note? Did you sidestep? Or did you just acknowledge its presence? Because at that moment and at that time, that was the best option than reaction. Now, I don't want to be rude, and I don't want to be on the bandwagon, but it seems like a lot of people this past week that have made their mark we're losing them. For those who don't know, young, gifted rapper had life ahead of him. Very talented. Passed away today by the name of Mac Miller, approximately 3 hours ago. And it's unfortunate because he truly had a gift. Then yesterday, we lost Burt Reynolds. Proof for life. Was blessed to see 82 years on this planet. Prior to his passing, as you already know, Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. There is no words on the impact that her voice carried. And of course, from a political standpoint, we lost Senator John McCain, POW, veteran, and senator. You know, they say that things happen in sequence, and it's best to take note because there is a lesson and a blessing in it all. And this brings me to this video tonight. Because I have been watching, as you already know, I always stay aware. But I always stay prayed up. Because at the end of the day, I have the responsibility of my legacy. And that's very, very important. And the one thing that I've learned through the last 6 years of my life is always reach out to those that matter. No matter the time, no matter the distance. And if there's a division that separates you because of confusion, disagreement, always find a way. So for myself, for those who know my story, I made sure I sent a message out to my firstborn because it's been quite a while since we've spoken. And I had to make sure that she knows that Daddy loves her very dearly. And I know that that is kind of corny to some of y'all because deep down inside, especially if you're a female, some of you are jockeying with this pain that goes way deep. And it's in the shape of your father. And I'm saying that with love because I know that that might be unsettling for some. First, foremost, forgive. And I know that might be hard for some of y'all because of whatever the reason was that divided you to begin with. Some it can be based off of perception. To others, it may be based off of lack of knowledge. And third, just downright fear. And fear has a way of destroying families. For some that are aware, y'all know how that Jezebel spirit works, right? It's the number one tactic. To find a weak vessel and manipulate it with pain, discord, and deflection. So this brings me to this video right here. Because I don't know if I may have not been clear, because I don't like coming off. First of all, that's not you. Like, why is it doing that? That's my light. That's my light doing the flickering. And it does what it wants to when it wants to. This is the first. So this might be a sign for me. First and foremost, my videos is for the intended heart, intended mind, at the intended time. And if you can relate, if you can learn something different, or see a different perspective, because all my videos are derived from my spirit, which is love. First and foremost, there is no malice from it. Now, with that being said, I have to stress this. Number one, I don't do these videos for favoritism. No. I do these videos because it was pretty much put on my spirit to do. I know that some of your walks are difficult. And I know sometimes you think you're by yourself, but you're not. You're not. Because what you don't realize, indirectly or directly, there are people around you that you may know and people that you may not. But because of who you are, want nothing but the best for you. You may be in a situation, because that is the challenge at hand that you must figure out, and maybe you may have to travel alone. But just know the people that have always had your best interests, they want you to make it through. They also know that the work has to be done by you. And a lot of times that work is done behind closed doors. That's what describes change. See, you can't measure change by witnessing it, but you do understand it when you see the effect. And for that to be, you must make a conscious decision as well as a choice on who you are, what you stand on, what you stand for, and of course, a decision on where you're going. So I've got to throw this out too. Because somehow, some way, there are people that, for whatever reason, do not agree with my position. And guess what? You're entitled to that. Did you hear me? You are entitled to your choice, as well as the effects of your choice. So I've always tried to echo, if there's something that you don't agree with, your first choice is not to view it. Let me make this clear. Everything that I convey comes from inside me, inside my spirit. Am I optimistic? Yes. But its foundation is built off of my belief and faith that through all things, God will make a way. He will show you and give you everything you need. Even if that means to see it, you got to be still. You got to be quiet. And the one thing that I've come to learn, you cannot give and receive at the same time. You know how your parents or your elders say you can't talk and listen at the same time. It's the little things that you may miss. And I've realized through the years that may be manifested through your reaction, like your grace, having temperance, having the ability to have self-control. Now, I put that out there so that this is recorded, so that there's no miscue or misunderstanding. And I understand this. First and foremost, before I go there, I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate you taking the time just to see what I got to say. I appreciate the interaction that I receive, and I try to give it back in return. But what I don't do is I don't feed in or perpetuate fear. No, don't do that. Because when you decide to open the door when it comes to fear, it really brings your life one step closer to it. And I don't have no room for fear. I'm not saying that to be cocky. I'm saying that I only want to live in peace. Because I know that when that day may come and I take my last breath, whenever that may be, I want to ensure that God says, you did well. For some, can't relate to that. Okay, that's all right. But I hope you get there. Now, let's talk about fear. And let's talk about how fear has pretty much eroded the social dynamic as a society, as a nation, as a community, in a town, in a city, in a state. There is a pandemic going on that people are afraid to be themselves. And they're allowing their alter egos and personas to impact their lives, and then they don't realize the effect of choices made. That's why you hear people say, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. Because that is the first example of what manifesting is all about. So if you're in a dark place and your reality echoes that same energy, what about your mentality? Because your reality is based off of what you keep up in this beautiful mind. And not to sound blunt, look at the company that you keep. If your company does not inspire you, does not hold you accountable to be the best you through their example, then they're holding you hostage of they're holding you hostage from you by way of distraction. I got this in my spirit right now. Somebody should be studying for an exam. But that phone calls keep coming. The knocks at the door come. Where's the respect in that? Where's the support in that? When they see that you're trying to make a way. You're trying to be the best you by ushering self-discipline in. Do they have your best interest? Most likely not. But until you claim it for yourself, you can't demand it from them. Who am I talking to? Now don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to sound like some old rigid person set in my ways. No, I'm not saying that. It's all about time management. It's all about the investment. The greatest investment you'll ever come to know is your life, because it's your story. So why would you turn around and leave those words, those actions to someone that cannot make you feel safe? Who am I talking to? For the last year, I tried to be very empathetic. I put metaphor videos out hoping that people would catch it. Beginning of the year. And I entitled it, The Ant and the Grasshopper. There's a reason why I put those videos out. It was to bring awareness for your society, but more or less for you to see what's at stake and how that has an impact on your decisions. May it be financially, or emotionally. But to the intended heart and mind, some caught that. Some have yet. And this is not a reaction because you did catch it. Maybe it's not your time to be the student in it. But the one thing that I've come to learn in my life, some of your best wisdom that you'll ever come a hold of will come by indirect examples. Why? Because we all know you're very intelligent. We all know that you have so much to offer this sacred ground we call Earth. Even the opportunists know that. That's why they keep coming. That's why they keep calling. Because if they didn't see the potential of what you bring to the table, you wouldn't see it. Something to think about. Now, what's going to happen now? The blink twice is going to start getting cold. And what's going to happen? Some of y'all are going to have to make some decisions because you're going to start having people come back from your past. And I've had that happen. I've had that happen a couple times this year. But I say this with modesty because I know that when you walk in a position of love, respect, kindness, temperance, grace, no matter what occurred, they cannot ever replace the impact that you made in their lives. You know why? Because they'll see what is lacking in the people that they come in contact. That is why no two flowers, no two pearls are the same. Who am I talking to? Do you hear what I'm saying? So let's go a little deeper with this social commentary. I ain't got to tell you what the social climate is where you are. There's nothing to be proud of. It's downright sad. But what you're seeing play out, may it be in your neighborhood, outside your window of your car, is examples of fear-based mentality. You notice when you drive, people drive more aggressive nowadays. And you're starting to wonder, well, what is it that I'm doing wrong? It's not you. It's not you. Now, if you're contributing to that, then what's happening is you're putting out energy, and that energy is coming right back. And that's your validation. So here's what you're doing. Take heed and change that. Because as I've always conveyed to you, energy after energy will return. That's a fact. Because you're a spiritual being. Just like you see this. You may have people that I'll just take a page out of out of Drake's book, the artist Drake. God's Plan. What's the first beginning of that song? People wishing me, not wishing me well. He keeps echoing that, right? Why do you think he would say that? Because even he realizes that the circle that he keeps, he must be mindful of it. And he also knows that is, if he chooses wrong, he too will be part of that circle. Nothing's by coincidence. Everything happens divinely. That's why you got a right to choose it. Now, I felt compelled to put this out right now because I don't want people to think that, as I said before, you're entitled